Hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. So let me know if the audio is sounding good today. So I have a bit of a hiatus, some of you might have noticed, and I would like to get back into the swing of things. So doing quite a lot of other things with my life over the last few weeks, and haven't done any Mac game testing for a really long time. And there's a bunch of like new stuff that's like come out that I'm quite keen to cover. So today I'm just going to do like a kind of a chill stream and see where this takes us. So I've got a kind of a list of things I want to test out on my MacBook Pro with the M3 Max chip. I've got a list, so I'm not going to write the list yet, but I'm just going to tell you what I'm planning to cover today. So we've got Rome 2 Total War, which had a native Mac port released recently. We've got the Robocop game, which came out like 2 months ago. I haven't covered. Apparently, some of the performance issues have been patched, so just test that out for a little bit and probably give it a refund. I want to test out the Stellar Blade demo, apparently, which works really well. We also have Elden Ring Nightreign. And then there's a new Delta Rune game. I'll just do some footage of that. And there's also somebody's got like multiplayer Helldivers 2 working on crossover preview. So I think I'll give that a bit of a go today. So it's just going to be quite chill. Just gonna get some B-roll for the future videos and kind of gearing myself up for WWDC next week. So Ghost K Web, thank you for joining us in the stream today. Let's just play a few games. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is get some footage of Rome 2. So Rome 2 is probably one of the most popular historical Total War games, and it's really interesting that they've put out a native port for this because it didn't have. It's one of those games which had a Mac port, but then was never updated from its 32-bit incarnation. But now we've got an Apple native version of Rome 2 up and running. So it's quite interesting that this is coming. Let's just get some sound working. Let's see. Yeah, let's do that. Let's see if you can hear the noise sound. Yeah, I'll go. Yeah, some sounds coming through, I think. Okay, so let me know in the chat what the sound levels are like. If it's too, just turn up a bit. There should be some music in the background. I wonder if that's too loud. Just go down a bit. Okay, so we'll just do a bit of gameplay here. So Rome 2, of course, one of the most popular grand strategy games of all time. Even though I think that Shogun 2 is better than Rome 2, I don't mind giving this a go. So let's just look at the map. Let's start a campaign. House of Julia. Okay, so Rome 2 has a really interesting historical campaign. I think it's one of the most accessible games. Like Shogun 2, right? It's kind of like really hard at the beginning of the match, but of the campaign, you can die really easily. But actually, Rome 2, I think, is actually quite hard to lose in a lot of ways because it's kind of too easy. Yeah, thank you for saying that the sound is fine, Ghost K Web, and welcome back to the stream. So for those who, I've had a bit of a time off in April. April and May, basically. So I went traveling to Taiwan in April, and then in May as well.
They may prove useful allies
I just kind of took some time for myself. I've been learning like a lot of Chinese as well, so that's been really interesting. Now we're gearing back up to WWDC. I'm quite keen to like start playing games again. So anyway, this is playing on Extreme at 1080p. On my M3 Max chip. So this, the M3 Max can easily handle this. We're capping out 120 FPS. What happens if I turn off VSync? What frame rate we're getting at 1080p? Where did that metal HUD go? If I turn VSync off, what happened there? VSync off and then metal HUD disappeared? That's weird. Let me just go back and start that up again. Yeah, so there hasn't been a huge amount going on in the world of Mac gaming lately. It's been kind of a quiet couple of months, to be honest. So it's kind of like my time away haven't really missed out on much. So if you haven't been following Mac gaming for a while, you haven't really missed that much because nothing's been released. Cyberpunk never got released. And there's a few games that have come out. So I covered Clair Obscur. I really like that game. Pretty much finished it. And let's see. Let's try and turn VSync off again because I want to see the true frame rate of this. Okay. Let's run a benchmark. Where'd the metal hut go? What? Okay, try Elden Ring Nightreign in Asahi Linux. Comes with Linux version of EAC. Does it really? Okay, what am I doing? Why, when I turn off VSync, does the metal hut turn off? It's weird. Okay, I won't turn off the metal hut. I just want to get some footage of this game while I'm up and running. Don't necessarily need it to a full, like, proper benchmark. So I haven't heard any reports of Nightreign EAC working on a Mac yet. So, okay, I won't turn off VSync, but it's just going to cap out 120 FPS, I think. We'll just get some footage of this running. Okay, let's play a bit. Yeah, so, actually, you know what? We're not consistently hitting 120. This is extreme options, VSync on, everything on as normal. And, you know, you have your classic map, grand strategy map. I mean, it's one of my favorite campaigns.
Each one containing a settlement, the hub
Always
of
get your economy
activity
up and
within
running.
it. One of these is always the provincial. Spies are subterfuge
Touch
experts,
this.
recruited via the Hire Agents button when a settlement is selected. They can be recruited anywhere in your
assault
empire
this.
and are invisible to the enemy.
Can't
until
move because I put the
detected.
agent in there. That's okay.
Spies are vulnerable to champions and
got any more?
exceptionally effective against dignitaries.
Got another army here as well. I can do some recruitment. Yeah, so I do enjoy playing these games quite a lot. But I do think that basically
the technology that will give you an advantage.
there isn't that much. I mean, it's I'd rather have Attila. I find Attila, Total War Attila, like a lot more fun. Okay, does a Switch 2 make Mac gaming obsolete? That's a really good question. So yeah, of course, Switch 2 is just released. I'm not going to buy Switch 2 because I have an original Switch and I barely even used it, even though I hacked it as well, jailbroke it.
Ready for orders.
Well, there are no games that excite me on that at all, as well. Let's see if I can get my navy a bit closer.
The settlement contains both.
So actually, we're not hitting 120 FPS even on my N3 Max chip, but we are on Ultra mode as well. Let's see what the battle campaign is like. Let's do some. Let's get some recruitment here. Some mercenaries.
Winning a battle isn't
can we
just
play the
about
battle?
greater numbers. The balance of
Balance of the
units
assault. Let's do an
and the
assault.
general's ability.
Yeah, so I don't think the Switch 2 is particularly an interesting console. I mean, what's going to be really interesting is whether it's going to be possible to emulate Switch 2 games on, you know, current Mac hardware. That'll be very interesting. Okay. So we've got our typical battle lines here.
Interface. Press buttons and click on graphics for details of their function.
I think it's really cool that they've updated this, and of course this version of Rome 2 is also compatible with mods as well, so you can probably mod the crap out of this. Though I do normally play these games like vanilla. I'm not really that bothered by
speed controls.
having mods, but there are substantial numbers of mods on the workshop which are very, very good.
Advance at speed. Riders at the
So just move my guys forward. Let me turn the volume a bit. Looks like it's a bit too loud, so let me just turn it down a bit. Are you guys excited about the Switch 2? I think it's one of those things, like, there's a lot of games coming out, but they're not particularly exciting to me. Right, light infantry. So we've got spearmen coming in. Let's pull back our skirmishers. We'll pull them back, and then we'll get our heavy infantry to charge these spearmen guys, and then I've got the hoplites to form a wall, or just charge them in. Actually, the mob. I always find it funny that there's a mob, which obviously there would be if your hometown was getting attacked. Okay, let's get commitment of spear infantry here. We'll do a cavalry charge from the side. You know what? We'll just select them all and kill them from behind. Okay, so let's take out these slingers. And I'll take these guys out too. Yeah, and what's cool about I mean this is an old game now, but it doesn't really matter how old a game like this is. It's still really fun to play because it's got a kind of timeless quality to it. I don't really see games like this going out of date anytime soon. And I know that it's been improved, but the close one-on-one battles are still very fun to watch.
Our general is under attack.
Oh, general's not attacking. Can we do a cavalry charge? Forgot to charge him in. It's not good to charge through trees and stuff. Cavalry. Let's get my cavalry back. Gonna take out these skirmishers. Okay, so routed these guys. Okay, so that's your typical Rome 2 kind of battle, I think. Victory. I think I was doing benchmark, I'd be looking at the Warhammer games, really, because they're way newer. Like, okay, so questions here. I want to buy a MacBook for CLG and light gaming. Should I have to go for the M2 MacBook Air 16GB or the M4 MacBook Air? I just want to play Wuthering Waves, Resident Evil 4 and 3. Good question.
Ready for orders.
Okay, I'll come back to that in a minute. Okay, so that is done. Quick look at Rome 2 Total War. Excellent game. Okay, next thing we're going to look at Robocop Rogue City. So kind of look, never played this game, so what's terrible about this is like it's been released full price, like $50 or something. It's crazy because this game's been out on Steam. It's been on sale on Steam for like $10. Okay, so you want to buy a MacBook Air. I would buy the M4 MacBook Air because the M1 and M2 generation, you suffer from some graphical issues in some games, and also M4's got proper hardware support for ray tracing, right? Which doesn't affect that many games, but affects games like this substantially. It's more future-proof. I believe the M4 MacBook Air has 16GB of storage. I think you're just going to have better time overall with the M4 MacBook Air. I would pay the extra $200, $300 for it. Wuthering Waves is actually quite demanding, because by default on the MacBook screen, it will try to apply quite high, because the resolution scaling doesn't work correctly. So personally, that's what I do, but I do admit that's like 50% more expensive, nearly 50% more. So you will also be fine. I always say, like, don't upgrade MacBooks just for gaming, right? You should use that $300 to put towards a new Switch or Steam Deck. You can buy a Steam Deck for about $350 or something like that, secondhand one. So that's going to have far better compatibility in many ways. So have a think about that. Okay, so this is on high Metal FX. Has anyone played this game? I haven't played this at all. I saw Mr. McWright did a video on it, and not many people have actually played this game. So let's give it a go. Let's hear some noise as well. Normal. wonder if we're going to hear anything. So yeah, how many people have played the new Robocop game on Mac? Any good? I think when Mr. McWright did a video on this, there was some stuttering issues, but they might have been fixed. Elden Ring Nightreign works good on the M2 Pro. Okay, yeah, I'll be testing that out today. So I don't think Crossover's been updated to do the switcheroo with the easy anti-cheat and the offline version of Elden Ring. So we have to do that manually. So that's what I'm going to cover today. Okay, Mochi Meow says, can I play games on the M410 core GPU Air, or will it be bad? I mean, it won't be great. You can check on my channel for, I did three compilation videos of gaming working on the M4 MacBook Air. And, you know, a lot of games do work, so just, and a lot of games don't. So it really depends on what you want to play, because if you want to play something like this, Robocop, it's probably work fine. Okay, what's happening here? Why did I get kicked out of this? Oh, wait a sec, I've got a delivery.
You give us 3 minutes, and we give you the world. Good evening. I'm Casey Wong. A military submarine that went missing over 3 years ago has suddenly reappeared in the Baltic Sea. Confused seamen mistakenly opened fire on the last Lapland reservation, killing 12. Thankfully, our homesick sailors are back on U.S. soil. Welcome back, boys. In local news, a new crime wave that is sweeping Detroit has already claimed the lives of 21 police officers. Here's a statement from the head of OCP, Omni Consumer Products, that's funding and running the Detroit Police Department.
Old Detroit has a cancer, and that cancer is
Okay,
crime.
let's see, can I
Must
actually
be cut out,
hear
and
this,
OCP
because
holds
my
the
audio
scope.
monitoring is not working.
According to our sources, the attacks were aimed at catching the attention of a man whose identity remains unknown. This dangerous new guy in town seems to have his eye on doing business in old Detroit.
Your filthy hands off me! Shut
I'm sorry. There seems to be a
Okay.
Disturbance? I'm a big fan. Now move!
Okay, let's skip this and get into actual gameplay here. Can we skip
Don't
this?
adjust your television sets. You're
Okay, does Nightreign work solo offline? I believe it's solo offline. If anyone knows a way to get the multiplayer working, somebody said here that Asahi Linux version is working, so I don't really know if that's going to work. I don't have an Asahi installation open at the moment, but I can have a look at that later. WWDC 25 would be good news, or at least improving gaming on macOS. Well, I'll be reporting on it anyway. I don't really know if it's going to be good or not. We've always had something interesting. I'm not sure how much, you know, the needle goes in a certain direction when we're talking about Mac gaming, and there's, you know, we've had momentum, but there's also been a lot of disappointing things over the last year. So we have several games that have not been released yet on macOS, which were announced. Like Dead Island 2 hasn't come out yet. Cyberpunk 2077 hasn't come out yet. I don't remember. There's maybe one or two more. So it'd be interesting to see if anything actually comes out anytime soon, because, you know, there's no point, like, you're announcing games, you're announcing ports for games which already exist. You know, the games have been released and you're porting them, and if it takes more than a year to port the game, it's kind of not a good sign, right? It's kind of sad. Did you say Helldivers 2 works on Mac? Yeah, apparently with the crossover preview, we have it working. Okay, I can't hear anything through my monitoring, so I'm just going to change some audio settings for a sec. Maybe we can hear something direct through the headphones. This might help, but it makes me look very goofy though. Let me just check if this is working. So, okay, so let's see. Let's change the audio. Sorry about this, guys. Just a bit of technical stuff. So sometimes, right, if you want to do a split between two audio things, what you can do is we can have audio piping out into 3 different places. Let's see, streaming. More streaming speakers. External headphones, does that work? So, and if I make things go through the black hole speakers, then I should be able to hear stuff now. Oh yeah, I can. I can hear it through there. Yeah, so just piping this directly from my Mac. Okay, great, I can hear sound. Good, good, good. Progress is being made. We've got controller support working too.
The ground's shaking. Judgment Day is here.
Yeah, so apparently Helldivers 2 works with that the current version bypasses anti-cheat in some way. So it'd be quite interesting to see. Is there VSync on? Okay, so let's just confirm the settings. So Metal FX 80%, graphics set to high, VSync we should turn off so that we can see what this looks like. So high, Metal FX 80, okay. Thank you very much for the super chat, Greg. Well, thank you. Great channel. Yeah, no, really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's been nice to come back to this. Damn it, was about to sleep and now Andrew's on. How much sleep do I really need? My streams aren't really that exciting, so don't lose sleep over it. You can always watch it later.
I already ran the plates.
You should know by now when it comes to evidence, we're hoarders. If it keeps on
There aren't many like
we're
good
gonna run short of
shooter single player campaigns on a Mac. We have even fewer multiplayer games, but it's really cool that this has come out, and also the Robocop sequel is meant to be coming out as well in the future.
We can't wait any longer. Those trigger-happy maniacs have a ton of hostages. But sir... Roger that.
Is this all rendered in-game? I think all of these...
the situation?
Goddamn OCP tells us to stand down till SWAT arrives. That's our situation.
Looks like I'm on the way out.
Not so fast, buddy. Who do you think is going to clean up this place? I'm not
Oh, I
letting
see.
you
This is
off
the
that
native App Store Robocop. Wish the Steam version would work. Yeah, I wish it does work on crossover. So it's been working on crossover for a long time. However, the Steam version is meant to have the Mac port of this game, but it does not, which is disappointing because the App Store version is actually costs a lot of money, and I think it really limits the number of people who can actually play
What the hell
this.
is going on up there?
Sorry, dude. The police want us to release the hostages.
It's such like
No hard
80s.
feelings.
Ow.
Hey, you can't go in yet. We need to wait for the reinforcements.
Reinforcements have arrived.
I knew you'd say something like that.
Reinforcements have arrived.
We need to find another way. It is too dangerous to cross.
For me. But you can take the heat. Go. I'll figure something out. Besides, you could do with a head start. Go on.
I've got a signet ring. How much do you think I can get for it?
Is it gold?
It was taken off someone famous. Just look at him. He looks kind of familiar.
So it has immense amount of textures and geometry missing on the M1 Max Wide crossover. Was this the same on M3 Max? Okay, I didn't realize that. Yeah, so there's plenty of games which don't render correctly on M1, M2 generations. I haven't really covered them that much, to be honest. It still feels very stuttery. That was quite stuttery at the beginning now. The native version works on M1, only the M2, only the Windows version works through crossover. Okay. It's weird that, you know, this kind of game would, you know, the first thing you do, you run in now and you're just picking up loads of ammo for some reason. Yeah, so Robocop came out a few weeks ago, and it has a native version. Like 2 months ago now, I think. Oh, that's cool, the Robocop graphics. That's very cool. Robocop vision. I just picked up Cyberpunk for Switch 2, it performs incredibly well. Yeah, it's really sad that, you know, that basically we have Cyberpunk working on a Switch, and that was announced way before the Cyberpunk Switch port. The Mac port was announced way before the Cyberpunk port for Switch 2 was announced. And they're both like ARM chip platforms, so, you know, there's no real reason why it couldn't have come out earlier. Okay, let's have a look.
Worried about the weight limit?
Lewis, you're here.
We need to get these elevators back online. The service box is in the basement.
The Mac port should outperform the Switch port, of course, by orders of magnitude. Like even an M1 MacBook Air, which I'm going to test the Cyberpunk port on, it should just perform way better than the Switch 2. So have any of you guys picked up the Switch 2? Any of you guys excited about that?
They sabotage the
And if you're on, and if you have a Switch 2, like a Naman shake in the chat, then what are you doing watching a Mac gaming channel? Shouldn't you be like playing around with a new toy? You know what I mean?
That graffiti is fresh.
Watch out! He's coming!
More tricks up your sleeve?
I will keep them coming.
Yeah, they have another expansion coming, so hopefully... Oh, is Cyberpunk getting another
Worth it,
expansion?
Don't you think?
So Phantom Liberty and then something else? Is that right? This game still suffers from the stuttering issue that I saw on Mixed My Question. Like, I think it's better than what he demonstrated, but it's still not great. Some of this is funny. Who's this guy? If okay, everyone's okay with HDR and fake ray tracing. Apple, you know, people ask like, when is Apple going to release a handheld or a gaming console? I mean, they already have a gaming console. It's basically the iPhone, first of all. And then there's the TV box called the Apple TV. And they've got iPad, which is arguably one of the iPhone and iPad are arguably the most successful gaming platform that exists. And way more future-proof than, you know, dedicated gaming devices. So Apple are never going to release like an iPhone with a built-in game, you know, game controls like those Chinese handhelds. They're just never going to happen. Apple TV does run games. I know it's like a joke, right? But it's the kind of platform that does. I've played some games on it. It's not great. I'd much rather be using my Steam Deck. Okay, getting bored of this now. Okay, so that is Robocop. I think I've got enough footage to cover what I need for that. Yeah, I've got RetroArch on RetroArch on Mac. Got it running on Apple TV. Yeah, you can do a lot of things with it. Okay, good. So, Rome 2, Robocop. Let's just see what else is on the list. Okay, let's do something more interesting. Okay, so of course, what we're going to do now is look at crossover. So we'll do some looking at. Oh yeah, no, there's one more game before I go to crossover. I want to try the Delta Rune demo. So this is a Undertale sequel. Let's go this. I didn't want to play Delta. I don't really get Undertale, but I just want to play a bit just to get some footage of this sorted out. Did Shadows get better? I haven't tried Assassin's Creed Shadows lately, so unfortunately, not going to test that out right now. Do you think we'll have major game releases every week when AI starts writing them? I mean, AI has already been used in some game workflows already, so I won't be surprised if... I don't think it will change much, because games are still a massive investment of time. Okay, so while I'm waiting for that to go, let's get crossover up and running. So what I'm going to do is run vanilla crossover 25. Let's just make sure we're up to date. Good, okay. Something's gone wrong with my macOS version of Steam, so just close that. I'll do Delta Rune afterwards, I think. So yeah, Steam doesn't like it if you've got Steam Mac and Steam Windows through crossover running at the same time. Just make sure that's closed. Okay, good. So let's have a look at Elden Ring Nightreign. So I was a bit confused about what Nightreign is. So apparently it's like a standalone half sequel, which I didn't even realize was a thing, because it was only last year we had the DLC for Elden Ring. So very exciting, of course. Elden Ring's massive. The thing about this is that I believe that we don't have a simple way to play this properly, because let me just. No, I could just install this locally. How long will that take? Now I've got my super duper fast connection. Is it going to take a long time to download this? I think I've already downloaded it through. I think I'll just do it through. I use my NAS to pull this in. Let me just make sure my NAS is installed. Yeah, Jigglypuff. I haven't done this for ages, because that just pulls in all my games that I have installed. At least it should do. That should have pulled in all of my games. Let me just check where that happened here. Here we are. Just took a while to figure out where they all were. Oh, we've got what's happening here. Okay, that's a partial download. Not sure what's happened here. Okay, so we're going to do Nightreign. And then there's a couple more I want to try. So Helldivers 2 and Stellar Blade. Maybe we'll get that downloading as well. Let's get Stellar Blade, because I heard that this is looking good too. Let's get my own footage of this. Let's try the demo. Not buying this. I tried Control, it's a brilliant port, yeah. Control port works surprisingly well. Generally impressed with that. Let's try the demo. Nightreign barely runs on Windows PCs, yeah, good point. Now, I've queued up Stellar Blade, but I really want Elden Ring to work. So let's get Elden Ring downloaded. Hell is Us. So, Greg, you're saying we should try Hell is Us. Okay, so I think as a super chatter, let's go demo. Sometimes demos perform differently, but okay, get these all queued up. Let's get Nightreign up and running. Yeah, so has anyone actually tried Nightreign? Let's have a look. Let's have a look at the Mac Gaming subreddit and see what we've got. Any good new games coming out? Apple ports Godot to Vision OS. Yeah, you tried the demo. Okay, well, I'll try this soon. It works on single. What does that mean? Is Helldivers a multiplayer game? Oh, you mean Nightreign? Helldivers. What is this Helldivers about? Will it be possible to run Dune Awakening on the Mac as it's releasing today? What's Dune Awakening? I'm really out of this at the moment. I can't believe there's so many new games coming out. It's a multiplayer survival game. Does it have any anti-cheat? It will have battle eyes, so it won't work on Mac unless they do, in the unlikely event that they provide an exception. Okay, with my super duper fast internet connection, 1.6 gigabit, this is actually downloading pretty fast. So there's 1 megabyte, 1 minute left. Okay, let's do some Nightreign. Nearly there. It says 33 seconds, but I think when you're running it through crossover, it's a little bit different. That estimated time remaining is growing. 16 to 20 seconds. Yeah. So if a game generally has anti-cheat, then there are definitely no options to play this through translation layer like crossover. Are there workarounds to run the Windows Xbox app on Mac? You mean to play games on the Mac or just run the app itself? Because you might be able to run the app through using an emulator like BlueStacks or something like that. I don't know why it like stops downloading sometimes through crossover. Oh, it's installing, not downloading. So I've got to wait for that to install. So in terms of running the Windows Xbox app, if you want to play Game Pass games on the Mac, there's not really many options. Some of the games do install via Parallels, running Windows 11 ARM. Oh, you want to run the games from the Xbox? Do you mean remote streaming? Yeah, so you can run some of the PC versions of games on Xbox Game Pass, but Xbox Game Pass only goes up. You can only play the DirectX 11 games because Parallels doesn't support DirectX 12, so that can be tricky. Okay, it's verifying. It takes longer to verify than it does to download. I think Star Wars Outlaws or Death Stranding 2 are getting announced for Mac. I mean, Death Stranding 2 maybe? I don't think it sells very well on Mac, that's the thing. Oh no, okay, I think that's because I'm going through Wi-Fi. Let me just come out of this and then... let's turn Wi-Fi off, because we should be going through my 2.5 gigabit. The specialty of Nightreign is multiplayer, really? Can you play Elden Ring Nightreign solo? That's interesting. Something's gone wrong here. Let me install it locally. There is a solo mode, yeah. I don't expect it to be bad. Can you play Nightreign solo or offline? Yes, you can play Elden Ring Nightreign solo by yourself, either offline or online. This mode is very challenging, but as of June the 2nd, they've reduced the difficulty of solo play. Okay. Is Elden Ring solo? Has its natural ceiling of being about 60% as good as the co-op experience. Okay, so I think Nightreign has the co-op mod with Mac. So there's a mod to seamless co-op mod. So if you apply the seamless co-op mod, you could run this apparently. So seamless co-op launches well. However, could click the prompt invite. Okay. So you can use the Steam invitation system to, I guess, invite people that you trust. Okay, let's just do this. Yeah, isn't that a mod for Elden Ring? It's a mod for Elden Ring, but it's also been modified for Steam as well. For this version of the game. The mod will be expanded in the future. For now, it includes the following 2 and 3 multiplayer lobbies, compatibility. Okay, just as on Steam and not be in offline mode. Okay. Okay, I'll give this a go. I won't play this seamless co-op mod, but it is there if people want to try it out. I think we just have to run the game and modify the files, just like we did before with the original Elden Ring. Okay, so we've got Nightreign installed. So I'm going to press the play button, and it should give us the error message from before. So here it's installing easy anti-cheat services, which is definitely going to fail. Well, it'll install, but it won't let us run. So I'll just wait for DirectX. Yeah, I'll try the seamless co-op. I don't have anyone to play with, so that's the problem. Okay, so I'll just update my list. So we've done Rome 2, done Robocop, and then we're doing Elden Ring, Nightreign. Okay. So it's going to give us this fail to load anti-cheat module. So we go in here, we right click, manage, browse local files. Then I think we can do it from here. We can do it from the Wine browser, double click, and then we've got these 2 games. So that's the offline exe, am I right? And then I have to change the file of this. So right click, rename, call this dot. Here I'm also gonna, let's copy, paste. No. You know what? I'm not going to make any backups. I'm just going to go to start protected game.exe. So just rename that exe file, and then let's try and launch this again. So is that the right way to do it? I can't remember. Yeah, that's it. See, we're launching the offline game. That was easy enough. I also hope that Cyberpunk 2077 will be presented at WWDC. Otherwise, it looks like a joke. Well, it was presented, and we don't have it yet. So it's been like, if I recall correctly, it's been like 9 months. Playing in offline mode. Okay, let's change on graphics settings. Okay, let's change some settings. High. High. There's no option here to change the... There's no option here to change the VSync. I'm refreshing all the pages on the subject. Well, the thing is that if you really want to play Cyberpunk on your Mac, just run the crossover. It runs fine. Let's play. Where's the VSync option? I'm not much of a From Software game kind of player. I did start playing Dark Souls Remastered though, properly. But I haven't made much progress with it. It's on my Steam Deck. Yeah, Cyberpunk crossover already runs great. So I think if you want like 40 FPS gameplay, 60 FPS if you turn the settings down enough, then that's something that exists already. It doesn't need... It's almost like the poster child of what Windows crossover gaming is capable of. It could be possible that more real for new games to be released on Mac since Switch 2 is ARM-based. I mean, the real issue is not ARM, x86 to ARM, which is kind of a solved issue. The issue is DirectX to Metal or Vulkan to Metal. That's the real problem. The graphics render is the issue, not the x86 architecture. Because lots of games have been released to Switch, and you know they just use more open graphics APIs, whereas you know we're kind of limited. Okay, let's skip this bit. 'Cause I want to get some. Oh, can't skip anymore. Okay, new Elden Ring. Got my controller working. We're hitting a 60 FPS. Are there display options here? No, we don't have graphics options for... I could try this at different resolution, I guess. No, let's just play. $60 on high. I mean, I could probably get higher than this on the M3 Max chip. So let's try maximum. Settings have not been applied. Love your channel. Thanks for the content. Thank you very much for joining me. I mean, I've enjoyed testing these games out. Okay, let's try this on maximum graphics settings. So this is going to be quite... Still hitting that 60 FPS cap. This is only running at 1080p though, so take it with a grain of salt. Oh, I remembered I killed those dudes. That's nice. The M3 Max is going to be more powerful. Yeah, maybe I could try this at native res. You know what? I could do it. Let me just get through the tutorial bit. Wall jump. Way more movement in this game. Near death. Which stat box? The top right has the metal HUD. GTA Online is not really working, only the legacy version still works. You lose a whole level from dying, eh? There's a lot more movement, so we've got this kind of wall jump mechanic, which is interesting. Not seen that in the From Software game, so... Skills. Okay, let's try increasing the resolution. So to increase the resolution, what we do is I need to adjust my desktop resolution first before I can do that. So I need to use Switch Res X to because I'm basically streaming this through HDMI, and so what I need to do is basically change the desktop resolution, and then when I run Elden Ring, it's going to run faster. Yeah, so I'll go to Switch Res X. So Switch Res X is the tool that I use to switch resolutions natively. So I'll do is I'll switch to 4K. I can't switch to 4K. I'll switch to 1440p. That's more appropriate. It's closer. It's not exactly 4K. It's not exactly native, but it's a lot closer. Okay, so let's run this at 4K. Yeah, my question is why they decided to put EAC. I mean, GTA Online is a massive moneymaker, so they just want to stop people from cheating and ruining the experience for other people. Am I on a treadmill? Yes, I'm on a treadmill. People always ask this question. Doesn't like that I'm... Okay, I might have to quit and do this again to render this correctly. Does Elden Ring have not ray tracing? I'm not even sure. Try Sekiro, yeah. Sekiro I know works really well, so don't need to test Sekiro. But I am interested in testing new games. Like, I want to make sure that this works. Just a more interesting kind of question. Because Sekiro, I've done dozens of videos on Sekiro. It's not a question that needs answering because it's already been answered. Let me just quit Steam because it's being a bit funny on me. 4 levels of ray tracing in Elden Ring. Okay. Oh, I mean, Sekiro is a From Software game with a movement and mechanics. Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's weird just seeing the Elden Ring style, Dark Souls style game. Normally quite methodical, plundering kind of feel to it, rather than agile and double jumping, wall jumping and stuff. Although Elden Ring does have that horse that double jumps. Okay. Just give that a minute. Okay, let's get some Nightreign running. Does ETS2 run smoother with crossover? Yes. Does Euro Truck Simulator 2 does indeed run better. Okay, I'm just going to close this. Sometimes it just runs better if we just close it and start it up again. So let's start up crossover again. The new one has a lot of movement freedom because of the BR style, the Battle Royale style. So Nightreign is Battle Royale, is it? I don't know anything about this game. Possibly a three-person party. Yeah, 3 players and you need to advance and kill bosses. Okay. So I think seamless co-op is probably quite an important part of this. Why is my Steam window not coming up? I might have to restart my Mac. Sometimes it's just one of those things. I change the resolution, change a thing, and it's like something doesn't work. Let's just nuke this. Well, maybe this Explorer window is not coming up. So maybe that was stopping my crossover from running. Let's just quit out of. Can't quit. Let's quit this and this. Just do it again. The white mechanics is based on this. Okay. So what is my expectation for WWDC 25? So Worldwide Developers Conference is next week. I'm expecting Game Porting Toolkit version 3.0 to be released. I think that we were going to get an announcement of new games, which is kind of a joke because we don't have Dead Island 2 and we don't have Cyberpunk yet. I do expect Cyberpunk to get announced. Okay, the Steam thing is not working. What do you guys think is going to happen with WWDC? Think it's going to... Do you want to get something exciting? I hope so. Something interesting always happens at WWDC. So what I'm going to do is I have to take my kid to a sports thing. But I'll be back when it starts. I'll probably do a live stream reacting to that. And then I'll probably make a video covering that right afterwards. Okay, let's just wait. Sometimes when crossover stops working, you have to like restart the Mac. It's the only way to really get this to work properly. Oh yeah, we have the game launcher for iOS and possibly the Mac as well. I don't know how that's going to look, but if it can focus on premium games, then that would be a very interesting proposition. But as of now, I don't really have high hopes for whatever it is. Will you test the upcoming Minecraft Bedrock Vibrant Visual Native Shader? You can't really run Bedrock that easily on a Mac. You can, if you run it through BlueStacks or something, you're going to have a bad time. You can't run shaders through that either, really, because there's no mobile version. Okay, let's try and get Nightreign working at 440p. In theory, Steam should load up really fast. Yeah, that's good. Okay, let's get some Nightreign up and running again. Chat, does anyone have Nightreign installed on their computer? Do you want to try multiplayer using Seamless Co-op mod? If you're interested in helping, you'll be featured on the video. If I do make one, let me know. Because we can try it out right now. Okay, this is 4040p. Okay, so this is a much higher resolution, and we're going at maximum quality settings. Let's see what it looks like. Are we going to get close to 60 FPS? Oh, we are. We're not at 60 like we were before. It's remembered that I've killed all this stuff, which is not very Elden Ring-y, Dark Souls-like. Shader's coming to a mobile version. Okay. Yeah, that's a very Sekiro type of jump. You can jump over stuff. Like, I'm not even wearing plate mail. Like, the guy in Sekiro is like basically in rags. So yeah, it's obviously easier just to jump around. But I'm in like full plate mail. Okay, so this is where I died. Oh, I'm still dead. Because they want me to tutorialize the bit about resurrecting. Oh yeah, I was going up these stairs, wasn't I? Okay. That's cool. Fire sword. Am I wielding the fire sword now or not? Got blue sword. Oh, now I've got the fire sword. It's got a full fire attack animation. What is a grappling hook? What? Ow. So I can get that by pressing this. How do I grapple up there? Oh, do I have to wait for something to... Oh, I can just kill him here. No! Where's my sword gone? Why am I hitting him with a buckler? Oh. Okay, that's cool. Oh, there's a lot of loot here. Ah, well, first bonfire. Sights of grace. You're gonna fix your own pins to the map. When a character's HP is fully depleted, they will need a near-death state, so I can come in and help them. Attack ally near death. So that's an ally. Has anyone got this installed? I could always test out the seamless co-op mod.
I have thee now.
Whoa.
Doth thine ambition know no bound? I will swat away and all who dare.
I can heal my... Okay, so good. No. Both dead. So it's really designed for 3 players to play this, I guess. Okay, good. So Nightreign, working. Good job. So we just need to do the basic trick of getting everything back to normal. Okay, Nightreign. So what was else on my list? Ah, Stellar Blade. What was it? Okay. So there's a few more I want to cover today. Stellar Blade, and then Helldivers 2, which I'm going to sort out using crossover preview. Okay, so can I get Stellar Blade working at 1440p? I'm not sure yet. Can I run games more than 60 FPS if I use high refresh rate external display? Yes, you can. Just be aware that your bandwidth, because it depends if your M2 is has an HDMI port or not. Because if it doesn't, then it'll take longer. It won't support certain refresh rates. Like I'm doing USB-C to HDMI here, and I can only run 60 FPS at 1440p. But if I try and run at 4K, it'll only let me do like 30 hertz. So the more the resolution, the more limitations that you have. If I want to buy a monitor for gaming on the Mac of 32 inches, would you recommend me 2K or 4K? There's nothing wrong with buying a 4K monitor, but you can just run games at low resolutions to improve performance. So yeah, 4K is fine. I would recommend 4K for better text scaling and stuff, for user interface. Being able to run things at 4K basically means like a scale resolution similar to 1080p, which is like beautiful. Looks beautiful when it runs on a Mac. But if it's pure gaming that you're talking about, then 144 hertz 1080p display is like fine for most people. So you're thinking about switching to a custom build. I do recommend gaming PCs. I always say, like, if you can afford a gaming PC, if you've got the space and the time to build a gaming PC, it's going to be better than trying to run the game through Mac. Okay, so while I'm here, I'm just going to prepare crossover preview, because I need crossover preview in order to get this to work correctly for Helldivers 2. So let me see, yeah, I've got crossover preview here. Do I have the one? I think I prepared this already. Where's my crossover preview gone? 050507. Yeah, that's it. It's the May the 7th version. And then there's a really good guide on the Mac Gaming subreddit, which I'll just pick up now. Which is Mac Gaming Helldivers 2. And this was a week ago by Green Machine 424. And basically it's quite straightforward. You just install the game via crossover preview. You implement the AVX launcher, and then you also change the launch options to use D3D11. Turn on MSync. Here's changing the model settings to advertise AVX, but I don't think that's strictly necessary. And then we need to change this initial setup true. So I'm gonna do this today. Once I try Stellar Blade out. So we need to use this version. So this is the April version of crossover preview. Let's try the later version. Got more resolution now, so let's go put that here. Okay, I'm just going to grab a drink. I'll be right back while this downloads. Okay, looks like it's nearly done. That's just validating now. So, personally, I think Apple Care is not really worthwhile if you're talking about Macs, because I think that stuff is much better taken care of if you get like technology insurance or home insurance of some kind. I've had water spillages, accidental damage covered, which Apple Care might not always cover if you do accidental damage on your devices. That have been covered by home insurance. So that would also cover all the other objects in your house too, and you get travel insurance too. So I definitely consider that before I do Apple Care. It's kind of pointless. Once I had a 2010 MacBook Pro, which accidentally spilled water on, and then I got it covered through home insurance. And at the time it was like 2017 or something like that, so the laptop was really old, 7 years old. And what I did was I used contents insurance to cover the water damage. So somebody picked it up and said, it's not salvageable. And then the insurance company said, do you want a new laptop? I said, yeah, sure. So they pulled up like the latest really thin Retina builds of MacBook Pros. And I was like, yeah, do you want this MacBook Pro? It's only got 128 gigabytes of storage, right? And I thought, no, I don't want this because it's not a like-for-like replacement, because my last MacBook Pro had 1 terabyte of storage because I put in a 1 terabyte solid state drive. And then they said like, well, fine, we'll spec it. And you know, going from 128 to 1,000 was something like $800 difference, £800 difference. So they just supplied that for me. And I actually kept my solid state drive because I took it out before I gave it to the company. So content insurance does that, whereas Apple Care wouldn't do that. Get home insurance because it's cheaper. Home insurance is cheaper than Apple Care. And it covers more variety of situations. It'll cover theft as well and all sorts of rubbish. Let me see, Apple versus home insurance. People don't agree with me. Yeah, 130 years what I spent on buildings and content insurance. This is what maybe the British insurance system is different. Can you afford to replace the laptop out of pocket? That's what I normally do anyway. If I have something break and I really need it to work, then I'll just buy a new laptop and then try to financially recover from that later. Because what I ended up doing with that new MacBook Pro that I got supplied by the content insurance is just sell it immediately. Actually, they didn't even send it to me because I just asked for the cash value of it, and then they basically gave me about 90% of the cash value of that laptop, which is way more than what my MacBook Pro 2010 was actually worth at the time. So definitely worthwhile doing. Let me just check out Stellar Blade. Yeah, so 4 days ago, someone's got this working already. I've seen some footage of it working too. Home insurance is like one of the best insurances you could possibly get, because it'll cover all your possessions. If you have a fire or something, it's going to cover that. So if you're going to get any kind of insurance, just get home insurance. Okay, that's done, I think. Yeah, let's run the game. No, I don't want to do that. me just see. Fivers. I've almost got the money for the build. I'll save up 1 more year so I can get a sim racing setup. Well, that's crazy. If you're going to go for proper sim, that's like doubling the cost of your entire setup, really. But yeah, with mad respect. Personally, I wouldn't do a sim setup anymore because, like, a lot of stuff is just better via VR. So if you have a VR headset, I think that's going to cover you better than. It's going to be more immersive. It's going to be more immersive than trying to run the game through anything else, really. That's what I think. Because you could do loads of like get loads of setup, like massive screens and stuff. You'll spend so much money, but the VR covers you really, and it's more immersive as well. Okay, so I'm running this at 1440p, so hopefully this will do okay. This M3 Max machine is only about 3 years old, so 2 years old, less than 2 years old, 1.5 years old, so it's still extremely powerful. FSR 3. How can I change the rendering scale here? And VSync off. So graphics set to medium, VSync off. Oh, I don't want that. I want this to be off. I consider getting the Quest 3. Yeah, I think Quest 3 is great. I like being able to stream from my PC to anywhere. Let's see store.
Transmitting final briefing. As of now, Airborne Squad 7 will exterminate the Alpha Nativas occupying District 3. Their objective is the capture or dispatchment of the Elder Nativa. Pods entering atmosphere.
1 minute until threshold is reached. The threshold has been surpassed. Activating shield. Code red. Code red.
Can I skip this bit? Massive cutscene.
All available drop pods
Probably not.
ejected according to protocol C32.
Is this pre-rendered or is this in-game, do you think? This whole cutscene. I wonder what it is. Because it seems to be running at this solid 60s. It looks like a video is being rendered. I'm not sure. This looks in-gamey, you know?
7531. Pod landing complete. Removing physical shield. Opening hatch.
So, have any of you guys played Stellar Blade? Because this game came out on consoles a while ago. So, I wonder if people are looking forward to the PC Mac port of this game.
Taki? Eve, are you alright? This place is dangerous. Take my hand.
It's got to be skin tight combat suit, right? It's like, has to be. But with long hair?
This way to the road. You take the left. I'll take care of this side.
I think it can handle much more than this, so let's go to very high and see what happens. Yeah, very high 40p at about 50 FPS. Let's try let's just pump it to just high, because that's impressive enough.
I see you still have your combat sensors. Great. Coordinates? The rendezvous point is at 2 o'clock. 400 meters in front of us.
Is this a Chinese game or a Japanese game? It looks Chinese in terms of its. It reminds me of Bayonetta, the beginning of Bayonetta a bit.
That was close. Come here. Careful of your jump. Watch out! It's an unlisted Nativo. I'll handle this one. Watch out! There's more!
Hi Andrew, it's been a while since you streamed. Yeah, it's been a while. Been having a bit of a career break. Oh, it's a Korean game, is it? Yeah, I can tell now. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I've been taking a long break. I've experienced a bit of burnout at the right before I left to go to Taiwan. I just like tried to do way too much, and when I came back, I just felt a bit burnt out. But I'm feeling a bit better now. So I've been taking up some other hobbies. My one thing I've been doing is just learning. I started learning Chinese again. So my Chinese is not amazing, and but I've started doing classes and stuff. So I think that'd be quite fun just to try different, just to improve my conversational Chinese Mandarin, which has been really fun. I've been doing like over an hour a day for the last like 2 weeks. And I've got a tutor from Taiwan as well, so we do a little bit of conversation practice, and I've been practicing using an app called Tandem as well, finding conversation partners through there. So that's been really interesting. Yeah. So, you know, I've not missed doing streams and game videos that much. Cool, that's great, thanks. Yeah. No, it's important to have a balanced life. You know, that's what I was trying to balance the work and the exercise and the gaming and stuff. I'm very aware that on Monday there's going to be WWDC, which is like a big deal for this channel and for Mac gaming in general. So I tried to do a live stream there and work through the night there, but you know, I got to focus when I need to. Okay. The way that this game looks is pretty impressive, and how it renders on the Mac is very cool.
No! The squad's life signs. We're the only two left.
Eve. Eve, pull yourself together.
Taki?
Listen to me. We haven't completed our mission. Now it's just up to us to see this mission through. Understand?
This game does not have a skip cutscene button, which is annoying. I hate games which, especially Asian games, like tend to have two. They think way too much of their cutscenes. Like it's just, oh.
Eve, are you ready?
Okay, let's try and do this boss and then. I don't know what a life girlfriend that looks like that. I don't. The problem is they don't really exist. Or you know, they'll look like this for like 5-10 years at the most. Then you have to deal with the reality of what an actual woman looks like. My game is really held back by software, while there are very clear hardware GPU limitations. We're nowhere near hitting them, yeah. There's nothing that... It's just... There are not that many games that take advantage of the hardware that much. The hardware's excellent. There's one thing I had said, you didn't miss games that much, but you did even miss us as sad. No, I like interacting with the Mac gaming community. I really like streaming in general. But the actual, I think the main problem is that nothing exciting happened in the last 2 months.
Well,
Right.
even better than during training.
We were all together. But then...
Nothing really happened. So here in this stream, I'm just like catching up on all the games that came out. And, you know, we've got like Rome 2, which was released 10 years ago. And you've got a new Elden Ring, which doesn't really support multiplayer. And you've got the Robocop, which is not very exciting release at all.
Wait, Eve. I hear something.
Getting Helldivers 2 would be interesting, so I'll try that next. Yeah, so Macs are very capable machines. The ARM architecture, the powerful GPUs and the base models, it's all extremely exciting. However, the software support is what's really lacking. The ability, like crossover is fantastic, but it's very limited in running these Windows games. And it's really up to the publishers and developers and Apple to push like native gaming, which I think is still very disappointing. We have like 10 large or medium-sized releases, like Assassin's Creed Shadows, and you've got Wuthering Waves, and you know, Cyberpunk 2077. All these things are slow. You know, Cyberpunk 2077 is now like 4 years old now. And it's come out on the Switch 2 before it came out on the Mac, even though it was announced on the Mac first. So yeah, it is a bit disappointing. One thing I did get into quite a lot as well as game is, you know, I finished Clair Obscur, which is a fantastic, brilliant game, so really enjoyed that. Ouch. And then the other game that I played, I've been playing, I bought MetaQuest 3, which is very exciting. I love MetaQuest 3 VR gaming, and like it's come up so much better than the original Oculus that I tried, the Oculus CV1 and the MetaQuest 1. The MetaQuest 3 is incredible. And you know, my favorite game to play on the MetaQuest 3 at the moment is just table tennis. There's a VR game called 11, which is fantastic. And yeah, I really enjoyed playing that. It's good exercise too. Can you tell us on the new upcoming games? So I feel confident in saying that Cyberpunk 2077 is going to come out next week. I'm putting it there now because it would be very sad if they announce the game and then they don't release it for the next few months. It's really sad, especially when it's come out on Switch 2 already. So that'll be a good that would be a good release. Don't know anything else substantial that's coming out.
It's quiet.
Still, make sure to stay cautious.
Okay, so I don't really think that this game is particularly interesting to me, Stellar Blade. Like the whole bit at the beginning, with just a lot of button mashing. It's a beautiful looking game. What's Road 96? Want me to play Road 96? What's that? What's this about? Hitchhike your way. Now, I'm not going to cover this right now. I want to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to follow this guide to running Helldivers 2, and then that'll be the end of the stream. So if you want me to cover other games, you can always super chat me later. But I'm not going to do it today. Just want to get this knocked out of the park right now. So I'm using 0507, so it's different from what the guide says. And we're going to run this, the preview version of Crossover. Why can't we play mobile games on macOS? Well, I have a whole video about that I made about 3 years ago. If you look at why iOS AAA games not on Mac. The real reason why iOS games don't come to that on Mac.
In business, they say it's all.
Yes, if you watch this video, just you'll figure out why. So has PlayCover development stopped? No, I think PlayCover is quite mature at the moment, so there's not much to update because it just works pretty well as it is. It doesn't really need much more than that. Okay, good. We've got Helldivers 2. So I've installed Helldivers 2. Let's see. Okay, so I've got initial setup. So I've downloaded Helldivers 2. We've opened up Crossover Preview. We need to add AVX support. So Rosetta advertise AVX. Okay, so let's start from scratch. Okay, so we need to go to the preview center. We need to have a crossover license, and then you need to go to the preview center and go to preview downloads. And then we're going to download this version or this version. And then we go to Finder. Then you go to Downloads folder. Then you open up Crossover Preview by double clicking on it. Then you double click on the zip file to open it up. And then you can just double click on this, or you can drag and drop this to your applications folder. And then you can double click or control click and then press open. Okay, so we've got crossover preview installed. So what we need to do now is, before we open Steam, we can actually change the bottle settings if you want. Actually, let's do what the guide says. So control click on Steam, the bottle that we created. Open C drive. And then then make sure we can view the path bar. Then we go down a level, so we go down to the Steam bottle here. Then we find our cxbottle.conf, control click, and then click open. We control click, and then press open with, and then text edit. And then here we can make a change to the bottle settings. So just scroll down to the bottom, and then we're going to I'm going to use this command under environmental variables. We're going to press return, and then we're going to type in this command, Rosetta Advertise AVX, file, and then save. Save anyway. Let's just quit out of all applications. Let's just quit out of crossover preview and open it again. Just make sure that this has been configured correctly. So just control click open with, text edit. Let's just double check that that's there. So Rosetta Advertise is there. Then we're going to double click on Steam here. So do you have a guide? So David asked, do you have a guide for Game Porting Toolkit work with GOG? You need to use something called, well, if you use Crossover 25, you can install GOG Galaxy directly through that, or you can use an alternative software called Heroic. So it's either Heroic or install GOG Galaxy through Crossover. Those are both of the options. Okay, so we've done AVX support. So we're going to go to Helldivers 2. Okay, we're going to right click, go to Properties, and then we're going to use the launch option use -D311. Okay, I think that's correct. Just check. So it says here, yeah, use -D311. Okay. Okay, so we're going to, so it thinks it wants us to run this the first time in order to create a configuration file. So we've entered that in, and press play, and it's going to run some dependencies and stuff, and it's going to fail, I think. So it's installing the VC redistributable. And here we have our nprotect game guard. So that's the anti-cheat. So Albertus asks, I run a 4K second screen. Do you run the screen's native resolution on the Mac and the second screen? I'm not actually sure about mixed resolutions and Retina displays, so I can't answer that question. David asks about Master Duel. I think Master Duel works on crossover and on parallels, so both of those methods work, don't they? Okay, so initialize error. Press OK. So go error code 114, fatal error. Okay, so I think that's to be expected. Okay, we need to edit the user settings.conf. So we need to go to app data roaming arrowhead Helldivers 2 and locate the user settings.conf. So we're gonna go back to crossover. Right. And then we're going to control click, go to open C drive, and then we need to go to the app data folder. So let's just check what that is. So users, crossover, app data. Okay, so users, crossover, app data. I'll do it again. I'll do it from scratch. So you control click on Steam, going to open C drive. Then we're going to open up users, crossover, app data, local, roaming arrowhead Helldivers 2. So it's roaming. There's no arrowhead here. Okay, so it says here, I think I skipped a step. We have to close everything, then load up and press Steam. Okay, so once I do that, let's quit out of crossover entirely. Quit out of Steam. Then we'll open up crossover preview again. And then we'll just do this again and try to launch it again. I haven't tested Red Dead Online, to be honest. Is that for Red Dead Redemption 2, right? I haven't tested that out. Okay, so that's, okay, I need to launch it again. Helldivers 2. Press play. And then I think it's going to give an error message again. So that's the end protect again. And then I'm going to error code again. Okay, good. So that's a good sign, I suppose. I can press stop here. Okay, so I'm going to go back into crossover preview. Then we're going to go control click, open C drive, and then we'll go back. Why is that not there? Okay, let's have a look at this again. Hello? Yeah. Oh, fine. I'm streaming. Sorry, I'm streaming right now. Okay, so I'm. At this point, you may put away with the first time. Reboot the bottle and save the changes. Close everything, then load up Steam and press play. After initial. So I'm just checking that this environmental variable has saved as well, because we definitely need to make sure that the AVX thing also is working too. Because the roaming, this should have, it should be there. Let me just. Bottle.conf. So no one got Helldivers 2 working yet. That's what I'm trying to do. Yeah, we have advertised AVX. Okay, so it could be that, so this guy is testing on crossover 0404. So it could be that, because I'm using 0507. So I think maybe that's what I'm doing wrong here. Okay, let's do it from scratch. Okay, let's do it from scratch. Okay, let's do it. Because I would just assume that the latest version is going to work, but I think it ain't. So let's like let's do this properly, okay? Let's do this proper, from scratch, from the beginning, from everything from the beginning. Okay, good. So you've purchased Crossover. So what you need to do is go, and once you have your license and you're logged in, go to the preview center here, and then click on preview downloads. So at the time of recording, the only version that's going to work is 2025 0404, so that's 4th of April. So you might have one that are later, they might work, but this one doesn't work, but 0404 does work. So I'm going to download this into our downloads folder, and then we're going to go ahead and configure this. So we're going to go to Finder, go to Downloads, and then we're going to have our zip file here, which we'll double click on, and it's going to extract Crossover Preview. So we're going to drag and drop this into our Applications folder. And then within Applications, our Applications folder, we'll double click on Crossover Preview. It's going to say it's an app downloaded from the internet, press Open. And now we have Crossover here. So you might have had to type in your Crossover details, like your username and password. And as long as you have an active license, this should work. So now we're going to go ahead and install a fresh copy of Steam. So just go to press Install. And then we're going to log into the Windows version of Steam through here. So as the application creates a Steam bottle, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the resolution because it's too high. Because apparently the performance is not good, so we're not going to benefit much from 1440p. So let's pump this down to 1080p, 120 Hertz. And that should be better. So S07002, I'm afraid I don't know much about Red Dead Redemption, so I can't really help you with that. Okay, so Steam might ask you to install fonts, just press yes, and it's going to continue installing in the background. It's going to ask to install Visual C++, press install, press close. And then here we're going to install Visual C++ again, press close. And now we have the Windows version of Steam installed. We're going to go through the installation and then press finish here. Hi, RinseWinCL, welcome back to the stream. Thank you for coming. Quick thought, are you using that generating power for your Mac using that treadmill? I'm afraid not. Treadmill doesn't use much power, or generate much power, should I say. Okay, so now we have, now we can log into our Steam account. I'll log in using my phone to, using SteamGuard to log in. So now Steam's loading up. And what we're going to do, first of all, is actually going to quit out of Steam because we're going to change some bottle settings in order to get AVX working. So what I advise you to do is quit Steam and then click here, quit all applications. And then what I'm going to do is control click on the bottle here, go to Open C Drive, and then we're going to view the path bar. So if you enable view and then show path bar, then you can see this tree here, and then we're going to click on the Steam button here, which gives us the folder, and then we have this cxbottle.conf. We're going to control click, open with, and then open with text edit. So now text edit has opened. We're going to change a configuration file here. I'm going to go to the bottom, And under environmental variables, we're going to add something. We're going to add Rosetta Advertise AVX1 with the double quotes here. So I'll put this in the description so you can have a look at it. But once we're done, we're going to press File Save. And just be aware that we might need to refer to this again later. So I'm going to keep this open in the background. And then the other thing we're going to do is change the graphic settings to D3D Metal. And then synchronization to MSync. Click Reboot Bottle. Just going to double check that this CX Bottle CONF has updated with all of the settings. So we've got Rosetta, graphics backend, so that hasn't removed what we need. And so we can close this now. So now I'm going to double click on Steam and just log back in. Hi, Rincewind. I did try Rome 2. I tried it at the beginning of the stream, so it seems to work remarkably well. It is an older historical Total War title. I haven't tested it on the M1 MacBook Air, but I imagine that's going to work fine on that. An ideal game to play on the MacBook Air. Okay, so now what we're going to do is find our game of Helldivers 2. So this is the Windows version of the game, and we're going to install this. Just click Install and then install it into your bottle here. Okay, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the NAS where I've already downloaded the game. This is why I prefer downloading games to outside of the bottle, so you can add them again easily without going through the whole download process again. So I'm adding my Windows NAS to this fresh Steam bottle. And then it's going to patch or download or whatever. So we'll wait for this to finish before we can continue. So you've been playing Vintage Story. What's Vintage Story about? Is it good? Do you recommend it? Sandbox survival game. 2016, eh? There's an old one. I've burned through a lot of survival creative games over the last few years. One of them is like Valheim and also Palworld. Those are all good. It's amazing, eh? It's not on Steam though, is it? It's like a grown-up Minecraft. Is this a multiplayer game? I've never heard of this game. Is there a Mac port? Vintage Story supports Mac Linux. Okay. How come I've never heard of this? Without a test, never heard of it. It's weird. Okay, just wait for this to patch. Yeah, it sounds exciting. Rincewind, how is this game different from Minecraft? Why do you think it's different? Because from the videos, it looks like it's quite similar. Okay, let's try and entertain ourselves while we're waiting. The netcode is really good. Okay. It looks like it's got interesting shaders. Think of Minecraft with more survival focus, smelting, leatherwork, and napping. Whatever napping is. I don't know what that is. I think not being on Steam is going to hurt a game like this quite a lot. Well, that's 1 million views. That's a lot of views. It's got classes as well. Yeah, I'll definitely. Maybe I will try this. It says it's got a generous refund policy. Can I have some squash, please? Thank you. Can I have both? Okay. Okay. My wife's just bringing me some refreshments. Okay, I'm gonna take a little walking break for a second while I eat some food. Okay, just had some food to eat. Sometimes crossover gets stuck downloading stuff. And can be handy to just come out of MSync. That can often fix stuff. And I'm downloading this at 1.4 gigabit. I'm so glad I have a fast internet connection. So stuff like this, right, becomes ridiculously fast. If you're looking at M4 MacBook Air, I would spend the extra $200. It does come up to about 25% more, but you are going to get about 25% faster GPU performance, so it's going to run faster. And double the storage space makes like productivity a lot easier because it is very limiting having 256 gigabytes of storage space. Yeah, so Red Dead Redemption 2 runs surprisingly well on most machines, even like base MacBooks. As long as you've got 16 gigabytes of memory, then it actually works surprisingly good. Okay, so once the game's downloaded, what we're going to do is press the play button and we're going to launch the game. So this is not going to run the first time. We need to launch the game in order to create some user files. Actually, before we do that. So once the game's downloaded, we're going to right click on the game itself in the library and click properties. And then we need to use launch commands -d3d. What was it? Then we need to use the command use dash. Then we need to use this command --use -d3d11. And that's going to launch the game in DirectX 11 mode. So once we've done that, we're going to press the play button and it's going to install some dependencies. So it's installing DirectX here. But we're not expecting this to actually launch because this is going to fail. We're just doing this so that it creates some user-generated settings files, which we need to modify so that the game can actually run. So now the anti-cheats come up, and that's probably going to be one of the reasons why it fails. Oh, and we actually see this is launching in the background. I've got the Metal HUD open, so this is running in D3D11. Let's confirm here, confirm. And I think what's going to happen is that's going to crash. So now what I'm going to do is to press Command Option Escape, and then I'm going to quit out of Helldivers 2 to force quit this. And what I'm going to do is going to quit out Steam entirely. Then open up Crossover Preview, quit all applications, and at this point I want to turn it to MSync in case you had to do that in order to flip it back to download the game. Then I'm going to control click on Steam bottle here, go to Open C Drive, and then we're going to open up the user settings folder. So we're just going to open up users, crossover, app data, roaming, and then arrowhead, Helldivers 2, and then user settings.config. So control click, open with, text edit. And here what we're going to do is make some changes. I'm going to copy this line here, initial setup completed equals true. I'll also leave this in the description. So we'll just scroll down. And we'll find initial setup completed and change this to true. And then click File and then Save. So now I'm going to reopen Steam with D3D Metal and MSync turned on, with the AVX turned on as well. Now I'm going to go to the library and then double click on Helldivers 2 to launch it now. So this should launch now. Okay, questions. What games do you recommend on Steam? I've got loads of videos about Mac games that went on Steam. The Mac version of Cyberpunk will come to Steam, so if you have it already, then you're going to get that version. If I play 3 to 4 hours of games like Wuthering Waves, Resident Evil in M4, does it throttle? Yes, it will throttle, but it's not that big a deal. What's the best controller? I like Xbox controllers and DualSense controllers. They're both really good. DualSense probably edges it out for me because of haptic feedback support for some games like Death Stranding. And also because it has an integrated battery. Okay, so because we've added that setup is true business, then we can press agree and continue here. It's a bit laggy. I think this is ever really designed to run on DirectX 11. Oh, it's actually booted. Okay, very laggy. I'm impressed this actually works. They did say that if you try to run this and change graphic settings, it might crash. I wonder if that changes settings, because I want to use the low preset. So if you have Epic Games, then what you can do is install the Epic Games launcher onto Crossover directly, just like you would do on Steam. Also, GOG Galaxy also works. Alternatively, you can use Heroic. So I've made plenty of videos about that in the past. Why you got finger looking good? Yeah, some Aldi crackers, rice crackers. Okay, so I wonder if this changed the graphic settings. Controller seems to be working. I think we still might be in my settings mode. So yeah, we've got controller support working. Good. Did this change the graphic settings? Because it crashed last time. Yeah, it's on low now. But the texture quality is on ultra. Okay, anything else I want to change before it crashes again? Because if I press apply, this might crash. Okay, apply. Yeah, I think that's... feels like it's crashed. Okay, let's just turn that into the lower settings, and then what I'll do is I will play a game. Play a real multiplayer game. So even though this is anti-cheat on it, for whatever reason, crossover 0404 is working fine on this for some reason. You can already play Cyberpunk at very close to 4K 60 max anyway through crossover, so I'm pretty sure it'll run similar to that on a Mac. Okay, let's try a real game. So this was never designed to run a D3D11.
Victory, Helldiver, victory. The enemy is in retreat. Super Earth has been defended. Rejoice, Helldiver. The battle is over. The Illuminate flee from Super Earth. Freedom has won the day.
Mission coordinates locked. Hellpods prime.
It's crazy that this works.
Launch initiated.
Graphics look a little bit basic compared to the full DirectX 12 version, so there's a lot of stutter. Like it shouldn't even be running on the Mac, you know.
History will remember your deeds this
Wow, this is actually working. It's crazy. But it's not very good. I mean, M3 Max, 20 FPS. This could easily work better, though, if it was properly supported. It's funny that you come off a dropship, you're just collecting ammo. It's such a waste of time. the fact that this runs through this anti-cheat, right, is kind of weird, right? Like, why? Why does this version of crossover work and not others? It's possible that they could have other, you know, other massive improvements. Like when we were playing Red Dead Redemption 2, right, we had very big differences between the initial version of on crossover preview and then the one that was released with D3D Metal 2.1, 2.0. So yeah, I can see obviously the performance difference. The performance is not good, right? Not really playable at 1080p even. But it's interesting that this works because, you know, it's an anti-cheat game, right? So it shouldn't ever work. I never expected this to work. Does this even work on a Steam Deck? Is this a rocket launcher? What are we supposed to do in this game? I'm supposed to go to this orange bit. Yeah, we're getting into tens of frames. Yeah, tens of frames. Oh, so Helldivers 2 does work on a Mac. Okay. This is not good. But it's just very interesting that it works, you know? Oh, don't think it's so good, man. Game over, man. Okay. Okay. Okay, good. So that's pretty much it. Okay, there's one more game I want to try, which is Deltarune. So yeah, I was thinking maybe I'll make a tutorial just for that to work. The current state of Helldivers 2, but that is not playable even on high-end machines, and I don't think people would go through all that trouble because it's a multiplayer game. Not something that you really want to deal with, you know, because it's not a good experience. There's some Deltarune. This is like Deltarune is basically an Undertale clone. Is there no way to full screen this? Oh yeah. Can you give a promo code for crossover? Yeah, if you want a discount, I have an evergreen discount. Just click on the top of the video description. You get a 20% off discount code. If you just click on the link, you'll get that. So the discount is basically Apple Gaming Wiki New, and you'll be able to access 20% off that. Definitely well worth it. I mean, today we're playing Elden Ring Nightreign, running at 60 FPS on max settings at 1440p. So impressive that it works. Ominous gets this game. Isaac. Yes. Don't even have a name. Oh, so I created a whole body for nothing. So this is a Game Maker game? Well, the beginning of every Pokemon game that's ever been made. That's real. How many guys played Undertale? So I did play it for like 20 minutes or something. Didn't really understand what it was about. So I'm being driven to school. It's like some kind of Zelda school. Oh, I've got a whole load of animals, like Pokemon like animals, and this is the only human. Cool snake. So who's the partner then? This guy. So one of these people doesn't have a partner. This guy's mean. Okay, make a group of 3. What is this about? Susie. What's she purple? Okay, guys, I have streamed for too long now, and I'm bored with that game, so. Okay, good. So, everyone, thanks everyone for joining on the stream today. And I'll be sure to be putting some content together for WWDC as it comes by. I've got a couple of videos that I've been working on since before my big break, but you know, back from my hiatus now, so I'm kind of back to work. I'll be, yeah, I guess the next thing I'm going to do is put together a Nightreign tutorial on my second channel, so make sure to check it out if you are curious about how to get started from scratch. Anyway, thank you for joining me on the stream today. I will see you later. Thank you very much for coming. So, bye-bye.